Hello and good evening, dear students of class 12th. Today we are going to continue the topic which we are studying till now, that is the sniper. It is a short story about a sniper who is fighting for seeing his country reunited like before. So in the final section of the video lessons, we will try to complete the chapter. So today we are going to study the climax of the story. So please open your books at page number 54. The sniper looked at his enemy falling and he shuddered. So when he had finally killed his enemy who was also a sniper, then when he finally saw the enemy's corpse and his enemy's body falling down, he shuddered. That is, he felt a tremor like in his body. He shivered a little. The lust of the battle died in him, and all the enthusiasm, all the love, this ambition he had about war, he had about fight, he had about killings, that thing died in him. He no more wanted to continue the war. He became bitten by remorse, and he felt so upset, and he felt so he started repenting about his choice of being a soldier and taking part in this fight. The sweat stood out in beads on his forehead, and he started sweating, and the droplet of sweats started forming around his forehead. Weakened by his wound and the long summer day of fasting and watching on the roof, he revolted from the sight of the shattered mass of his dead enemy. So, as we already know that his right hand, his right forearm is injured. The bone has been broken and the bone has been fractured, and he had not eaten much from all the day, and he is tired. He is exhausted because of this fighting, because of waiting on that rooftop all the day long, so all the night long. So when he saw the shattered mass of his dead body, when he saw the broken down corpse of his enemy's dead body, he revolted. He felt some sort of nausea. He felt some kind of remorse. His teeth chattered, and his teeth started making some noise. He began to gibber to himself, cursing the war, cursing himself, and cursing everyone. He began to gibber to himself. Then he started saying or telling things to himself. And he started cursing the war. He started cursing himself and cursing everybody. He was feeling, completely he was feeling dejected. He was feeling upset. He was abusing. He was cursing everyone, whoever he thought was responsible for this situation. He was abusing. He was cursing himself, and he was cursing the war which is taking place and because of which this thing has happened. So, and in addition to that, he was cursing everybody else. He looked at the smoking revolver in his hand, and with an oath he hurled it to the floor at his feet. After that, what he did was, he was holding the revolver, as we know that he had just fired and just killed his enemy. So he was holding his revolver in his hand, and the smoke was still coming out of it. It had not stopped. So with an oath, with a firm declaration, with a firm thought, he hurled, he pushed, he threw his revolver with full force towards the feet, towards the floor, towards the roof where he was standing. The revolver went off with the concussion, and the blood whisked past his head. So what happened that when he did that, when he with full force threw the revolver at the roof, blood came out of it. Blood was fired automatically, and it just passed ahead, passed a little above his head. If it had came a little lower, then it might have struck his head. It might have pierced his head, but it flew a little just above his head. He was frightened back to his senses by the shock. So when this thing happened, again he was again he was shattered. Again he was disturbed, but this time he regained his senses. He came back to his normal self. His nerves steadied, then he became calm, then he composed himself, and he could see things now clearly. The cloud of fear scattered from his mind, and he laughed. After that, all this fear, all this this apprehension removed, was completely removed, and he could see things clearly, and he then started laughing. He decided to leave the roof now and look for his company commander to report. So after that, the first thing he thought about doing was that to leave the roof, to go away from the roof, and to meet his commander and report to him whatever action, whatever things happened with him. Everywhere around was quiet, and he found that everything was quiet now. Earlier, a few hours ago, there was fierce battle taking place. Now it's completely quiet. Now it's completely silence. There was not much danger in going through the streets, and he also found that it's safe to move, it's safe to pass through the streets now, because it's not much danger now. He picked up his revolver and put it in his pocket. So with this resolution, with this thought that I will go to the street, I will walk through the streets, he put his revolver back into his pocket. Then he crawled down through the skylight to the house underneath. After that, he tried to climb down through the skylight. Skylight is that portion on a roof which we intentionally keep open so that sunlight comes in and some sort of light comes into the room. So he came down through that portion of the roof into the house, which like house under it, which was beneath the skylight. When the sniper reached the laneway on the street line, he felt a sudden curiosity as to the identity of the enemy sniper whom he had killed. So when he reached the street, when he reached the path, by the sides of the street, he suddenly felt a curiosity, suddenly felt like knowing the identity of the sniper, who the sniper was. He was feeling like some sense of some urge to know his identity, which the sniper whom he had killed so recently. He decided that he was a good shot, whoever he was, and he decided that whomever that person is, he was a good fighter and he was a good target, and they had some sort of a tension times before, and that was a fair companion, that was a equal enemy. He wondered, did he know him? And he wondered whether he might be knowing the death sniper whom he had recently killed. Perhaps he had been in his company before the split in the army, or it might be such that sniper would be part of his company before the partition of the army itself. Because as we know in the story is based in Ireland, and Ireland is fighting in Ireland a civil war is taking place between the Republicans and the Free Staters. So the army might have been split, it might have been partitioned into two, one favoring the Republicans, another favoring the Free Staters. But before that, the army was a unified single whole. He decided to risk going over to him and to have a look at him. So he decided that I should, or I might go to that site, that place where the corpse is lying, and have a look at him. He peered around the corner into O'Connell Street. So after thinking of doing such a thing, he looked through the street. He looked on the both sides of the street. In the upper part of the street there was heavy firing, but around here all was quiet. So in the upper part of the street, at some far section of the street, fighting was still taking place, but the region where he was standing, where the corpse was lying, there was completely silence. Everything was quiet. The sniper darted across the street, so he quickly ran through the street and reached the opposite side, or tried to reach the opposite side. A machine gun tore up the ground around him with a hail of bullets. So as soon he ran through the street, a machine gun from a far off place started firing towards him. It fired so many bullets that it tore up the floor, tore up the street. but he escaped, but still he was able to escape. He threw himself face downward beside the corpse. So just to make the other, or just to make the machine gun or the enemy think that he has been killed, he just lay down with his face downwards. The machine gun stopped. So as soon as he did this acting of a dead corpse, the machine gun stopped firing. Then the sniper turned over the dead body and looked into his brother's face. So when he had done that, when the machine gun stopped and when it was time for him to finally look at the face of the sniper, but when he turned over the corpse of the dead sniper and looked at the face of the body, so what he finds that dead sniper, that corpse is the body of his brother. So with this tragic end, this story ends. This short story, The Sniper, ends. So this was all for the chapter. We will continue the question and answer sections in the upcoming video. Thank you so much for watching.